blessing of introducing Dick and Terri. For those, some of you may have heard this story already. I worked with Terri as a teacher at Martin Luther King Junior High School at the time, and Carl knew Dick from when they played softball way back in the day. And Terri, there were 5 of us. We hung out together. We were the queens who worked at Martin Luther King, and 4 of us were married at the time, and Terri wasn't. And she kept saying, man, I'd like to be married. And one day I was walking out, or meet a nice guy, I was walking out to the parking lot with her, and she was so sweet. She goes, darling, there just aren't any good men in the world. You're married to him, and I can't marry him. He's busy with you. She said, there are no good men in the world. And I said, Terri, there are good men in the world. They're just some that you might not look at twice. I know a good man. You might not look at him twice. Sorry, Dick. No, put down that. We're so excited to be holding this event for Dick and Terri's honor today. Theresa Martinelli Volkman was one of my dearest friends. Having another queen to be a friend with, to love, to adopt our children together, to be everything a mother and wife and friend should be. She was a blessing to all of us.
Well, I'll take one thing for credit for, and that is I introduced Dick to, I arranged it so that Dick could be at our house on a Saturday or Sunday evening, and I said, Dick, we might have somebody that you might be interested in, so he said, okay, I'll come over, and so we came over for dinner, and we had spaghetti dinner that night, and everything was going good, and then Dara asked me, hey, Carl, is the spaghetti hot? And so I said, well, I'll check. And Terri and Dick were sitting at the table, and so I reached over and just put my hand in the spaghetti to see if it was hot. And I said, yeah, it's hot. And Dara was appalled that I had stuck my hand in the spaghetti. Terri, I remember, she sort of laughed a little bit, and Dick said, I knew she had the potential, and she wasn't upset for me sticking my hand in the spaghetti. But it turned out great, and that was the start of their great relationship.
Hello. As you all know, I'm Kara. I have so many memories, like too many, but there's a few. Like my friend said, walking the dog was always fun. That was a good memory because me, my mom, my dog, we all loved each other. It was always fun. We would talk, we would listen to music, so it was really nice. The best memory would be going to school every day. She would always take me, and we would play Mamma Mia in the car, we would play rap, we would play all sorts of music driving to school. I think the other memories would be going to the beach. That was her top favorite. Just loved the beach. Every time we would go, we would shop. She would shop and I would shop with her. Money didn't matter. We would just shop for jobs. So that was fun. When my entire family was in the living room and we were all watching Jaws. That was a good time. Not for me, but it was good for everyone else because I was scared out of my mind. My mom was like an amazing person. She was like the best artist that I remember. I will miss her, but I still have all of the memories in my heart. We'll never forget. And yeah.
I'm on the air. Dick, This is primarily for you because you're the one here that's gonna see and hear. We love you. We've missed you for many years, and we're devastated at Terri's going and your loss. And we hope that now you'll come and visit us some and be closer, and that Michael and Paul get up here and spend more time with you, and that it's all fun. I miss you, and I hope all goes well for you now, and you stay healthy. Bye.
Hello. So I guess what I wanted to say, Uncle Dick, is that that's kind of who you are to me. You've always kind of been my surrogate uncle when I was growing up. You've been there since I was just a baby, and I've loved you forever. Whenever Terri came into my life, obviously, it was because she came into yours, and she kind of became my aunt as well, and I loved her. Nicholas and Kara, you two are the best. From when you were itty bitty until today. I'm sorry we don't get to see you more often, but certainly I wish it was more times than it is now. I love you all, and yeah, I hope to continue to do so for many years to come. Mwah. Bill, just say hi.
Hi, Dick.
That's it. He doesn't talk much. We're good. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Marion Spahn, and it's not everyone that you meet in life that you actually get someone to preview them. The neighbor, Jean Devine, who is a friend of mine at church, said, Marion, you have to get to know my neighbor, the Volkmans. They have just adopted 2 kids from Russia. Their boy is the same age as Michael, and I think that you will just get along so well. That's when the kids were 4 and 2 years old. To my delight, Nicholas and Michael started kindergarten together a year later, and Kara followed, spending many years with me in the children's choir at St. Patrick's, handbells, playing guitar, and we've had a relationship now for almost 20 years. Terri was such a wonderful joy in our life. She started with that kindergarten year with a big smile on her face, switched Nicholas from their daycare over to Flower Valley so that he could spend more time with his little local friends like Michael and Luke. And we spent years after that in sports events. Terri would bundle us into her van. We would be cold and shivering at a soccer or lacrosse game. She says, oh, come on, get in my car. And we would just shiver and laugh and listen to music until the kids were finished with their game. Terri was just always with a smile on her face, just so happy to be doing things for the kids and with the kids. The fact that we were both teachers in Montgomery County was also a source of joy for both of us. We knew some of the same art teachers and teachers in the county, and we were never without conversation for all the years that we were together. It's very, very sad that a disease took away some of the joy, but for me, I will always have memories of just a smiling lady who was just proud and in love with her kids and in love with her family, and those memories will remain with me for many, many years. When Kara decided to sing 2 songs for this very special remembrance today, I was just dumbfounded. She really challenged me as a music teacher because I know nothing about Justin Bieber and Lindsey Sterling and all these people. I know Hot Cross Buns and church songs. So with Kara's help, she got me to download music and learn 2 very special songs for the day. I enjoyed this very special journey with Kara the last month in making a musical presentation today. And I think this relationship that Kara and I have will go on for many, many years, always honoring that great mom of hers. So I'm so happy to be part of today and part of the Volkman family memories.
I'm a man of few words. Today I'll try to do that. First of all, great thanks to Dar and 5-0. I'm sorry, Carl. I can't get used to Carl because we used to all go by our softball numbers. Immature idiots that we still are. So Dar and 5-0 have been just wonderful throughout this whole thing. She offered her house for a party like about the week after.
You're good.
It's okay.
I thought I could do this.
You can.
I just want to say, it's an honor to be here with each and every one of you. You mean so much. For so long, and you're still here. I'm sorry, I didn't think I'd fall apart. Thank you so much for coming. Especially on this snowy, horrible. I can't stand that snow, it's killing me. But as you can see, they have a beautiful yard. Which about a month ago, they were Barbados, somewhere. Where was it? Dominican? Somewhere.
Yeah.
And their son called him long distance and said, the big tree in the backyard's down. And he didn't want to talk to his mother, he was too scared, so he asked for 5-0. And 5-0 says, I knew it was bad when Jake asked for me. But they got the tree cleared up in time for a beautiful sunny day for this party. So they have a wonderful backyard and porch, but we're all in here. Now this was called off, called on, called off, but I couldn't care less because when I look out there I see a lot of people that look like they're having a good time, and that was the whole point, because that's what Terri would have wanted. She didn't want a lot of what I'm doing now. She's probably yelling at me. You always have to go to famous people for quotes and stuff. So I'll quote Lou Gehrig. He was a great Yankee. He was dying of ALS in 1939, and he had a thing at Yankee Stadium where he had to retire. And he said he felt like he was the luckiest man alive. So am I. Because of you, and especially because of Terri. I feel like I'm the luckiest man alive even now as I'm falling apart. I lost my best friend, even though you guys are great friends. I hope this doesn't happen to anybody else, but you know it will sometime. Sorry. In 33 years and 31 days, and everyone was great. Everyone was wonderful. I remember there's a guy here named Big Larry. Probably some of you met him. And Big Larry, we have another friend named Mark Bartels, and Mark's a character even probably worse than me. And Mark met a girl later, I don't know, in his 30s or something, married her. It didn't take Big Larry, who's Mark's best buddy, too long to christen her St. Anne. And they've been married a long time because their kids are grown up, aren't they? So I think of my wife, and St. Theresa would be appropriate. And my sister said anybody who could live with me for 33 years automatically qualifies for sainthood. I don't think it's quite that bad, but my sister's my biggest critic. I think when we were little, it's because they said she looked like me. Another guy, I don't know if Pat Shealy made it. Is he here? Pat Shealy's not here, but Pat's he was a UPS truck guy, And Pat went to college for about a week and said it wasn't for him. He's a very smart guy, but he just hated it. So he drove a UPS truck and retired 10 years before I did. So there's some limits to education. But Pat was at one of the schools on his route in Bethesda was Tilden, whereas Terri was after she left where Darlene was and where we got married. She was at Tilden, and Pat went by often, so he would drive his truck in the front and dump off the packages and go back to the counseling department and sit down and hang out with Terri for a while. Pat's comment a month ago was, Dick, I always figured you were a pretty smart guy because like me, you married up. He married a nurse named Ann, right? And he said, Dick, you married up. I said, I think that's fair, Pat. To quote a famous writer, I guess Shakespeare's famous, in Romeo and Juliet, he said, parting is such sweet sorrow. But I have a better way of saying it. Smokey said, what's so good about goodbye? And he also said, I gotta dance to keep from crying. And I ain't kidding. I've done a lot of that lately. If you ever come by Hornbeam Drive and you hear a big loud noise, that's my music. I just want to have a small tribute today to a couple of fellas who have passed away. Timmy Cristado, George Dabrowski, and another guy named Ricky. Paul, what was Ricky's name? Cumberpatch.
Rick Cumberpatch.
These guys are all Vietnam combat veterans, not like myself, who was in the Army with a cush job. I got lucky, or not, or whatever. These fellows served, their days. Rick Cumberpatch died in Pleiku in 1965. His sister bought my house in 1987, but she didn't know I knew him. George died last year, Mike?
Yeah, that's October.
George was a good friend of Mike's. So went November, and they attended a ceremony the other day. Was it at Arlington National? George was a combat veteran, and another guy named Tim Cristado, who grew up with Paul and Mike and I, and he passed, last year, Paul? Maybe.
Probably 2 years now.
Yeah, so I guess the point I'm trying to make to you is life can be short sometimes. And when you lose your old buddies, it really hurts. And those are three guys that, I was fond of, and some of you were best friends with. And I don't know, I didn't want this to be sad, but just try to think, make the best of every day. Cliche, that's true. I just want to say one thing that Terri always said with me. She always said an old line from a Robert Browning poem, and it starts off with, grow old with me, the best is yet to be. I hope she was right. We had a great run. The last thing I'd like to say, and it relates to people in this room, I could never read it because I'd never make it through, but sometime when you get a chance, look up a poem called Around the Corner. It's by Charles Hanson Towne, and it's about keeping your friendships alive and not forgetting your old friends. I could never read it because I'm not in shape to do that, but he wrote this poem, and I think I saw it way back when I was young, and I never forgot it. I read it this morning, and I did one of these, but it's about your old friends, and just try to keep in better touch. A lot of us haven't done that well. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. But today we are together, and I'm honored to be among you. And, great thanks to Dar and 5-0. Thank you.
Each of us knows Dick or Terri, or both of them, in such unique ways. And Terri, what a smile, right? What a smile that woman had, and she always had it every day, and her spirit was so joyful and so happy. And then when Kara and Nicholas came, just a blessing to her and to Dick, and really brought joy to Dick's life. Losing Terri has been crushing, just crushing, and it wasn't an easy path. and Dick was there the whole time.
Two occasions where I did things with Dick without my twin brother Paul being there. One was going fishing in Canada during the break in the summer, where we both fell asleep in the car driving up the highway, and I woke up just in time so Dick didn't hit the brick wall. So that was the first bad omen. Second bad omen is we rented a boat at Lake Nipissing and went out behind this island where we couldn't, as amateurs, figure out that we would be in a place where we couldn't tell if a bad storm came up. And there were some other guys fishing in another boat, and they pulled up anchor and took off. And we said, I wonder what's wrong with them? They must not be able to catch any fish. So we started to move a little bit and looked around, and all of a sudden there's this huge storm coming up, and we're trying to get back to shore. And I'm sitting in the front of this boat, and it's a 16-foot wooden boat, and we were dead. Because we couldn't make it through to the inlet where the river was, so we could get out of the storm. Except for the fact that I turned around and yelled at Dick, and I said, "You got to fix this, Dick, because it's all your fault." And he said, "Okay," and he got us in there, and we're still alive. That was the third bad omen. That was the second bad omen. The third bad omen was that when we actually got to the place where we went fishing, we never caught any fish. We just caught a bad diarrhea virus, and that was the end of our fishing trip for that year without Paul. He's so lucky he didn't make it. End of story.
Hello, I'm Daniel Lewis, and I'm a friend of Kara's for almost 6 years now. And I'd like to share my thoughts on her mother. For as long as I've known her, there's only been positive thoughts and moments that I've shared with her. Almost every time I would come over, I would always see her walking Annie, their golden retriever, outside. Always by her side, and I'll greet them halfway. And then whenever we all made it back to the house, it's funny. Her mom would always pick on her all the time because she did deserve to be picked on. She wasn't always behaving, but her mom cared so much about her family. So that's always good to know. But as I said before, I've only known her for like a few years at most, so I don't have too many memories, but again, all the ones that I did have were all good, fond memories.
When I first met Kara's mom, she was a very loving and interesting person. When I always came over, she used to call me Humani, and she used to sit down and have a talk with me about a lot of things. And she always used to ask me how was your day and everything. And that woman, she was a wonderful, amazing person that she helped people out no matter what, the cause was, no matter how, depressing you were. She always knew how to make you happy. And one day, I remember when I walked into her house, she was walking Annie out, and when she saw me, she was like, "Oh my God, who is that? It's Humani." And I was like, "Hey, how are you?" and everything. And there's something about her that she fills people's spirit up with joyful. And honestly, I'm really gonna miss that. And moms are important, key into our lives. They teach us how to live our life. They teach us how to, cope with life. They give us strength. And that's what Kara's mom did. She brought a lot of joyfulness into people's world. She's a wonderful, amazing woman. She's just like a mom to me. And, God bless her soul. But I just miss her really. And her spirit is still with everybody. And it will never be forgotten. No.
Yeah, to get some weird cancer. Yeah, Paco's gone. His two daughters were my godchildren. I got Billy Lawrence. That's another one I thought about, but I never got a hold of it. Don't worry about it, dude. John, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming, John. You had quite a while to play. Thanks a lot to your brothers, you and your family. Oh, Kathy, that stuff worked out.
Won't give up, won't break down. Sooner than it seems, life turns around, and I will be strong, even if it all goes wrong. When I'm standing in the dark, I'll still believe someone's watching over me. I've seen that ray of light, and it's shining on my destiny, shining all the time, and I won't be afraid to follow everywhere it's taking me. All I know is yesterday is gone, and right now I belong to this moment, to all my dreams. So I won't give up, no, I won't break down. Sooner than it seems, life turns around, and I will be strong, even if it all goes wrong. When I'm standing in the dark, I'll still believe someone's watching over me. It doesn't matter what people say, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. Believe in yourself and you fly high, and it only matters how true you are. Be true to yourself and follow your heart. So I won't give up, no,